A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I used to read Australian Women's Forum for the articles, because I used to write a lot of them back in the day. This magazine existed for the 1990s, from 91 to 2001. Now, I used to write for them, freelancing, and I also used to write their advice column for the last 3 years before it got brutally taken from us in its prime. I'm going to do a feature video of some kind, talking all about Women's Forum and why we need something at least as good as it now, and we don't. It's a corrupt society we're in now, or a much more corrupt society anyway. So I'm dragging an article that I wrote back in 1999 about oral sex. There's a consumer's guide to oral sex. It was in this issue, and it was inspired by a book called Sex Tips for Straight Women from a Gay Man. And when I read it, I thought, okay, I'm going to write an article and include all his tips, and also do the reverse and do an article about, complete the article with cunnilingus as well as fellatio. So it's a his and hers guide on how to deep dive into sexual satisfaction. It's just for a bit of fun. I've been having a lot of fun with the podcast so far, but I have been trying to impart as much sort of socially responsible knowledge around empowerment and consent and all that sort of jazz. Fittingly, the first 10 or 15 minutes or so of the podcast, which is dropping on September 1, is all about consent. So before we get into the fun stuff, I do get deadly serious and talk about consent during sex, not just consent before sex, because people can be quite entitled. So prepare yourself for that, for thinking about stuff. So yeah, I had a lot of fun writing for them. Like I said, I am going to do a bigger, more colourful video looking back on how great a magazine it was when I get good at making videos and editing them. Currently I'm shit, so I'm doing this in one take so that I can get to work learning how to be a better filmmaker. Before I go, I'll just briefly touch on a couple of fun articles I did write back then. This one, Straight Men's Gay Desires. I quoted the statistics from a book written by Ruth Ostro back in the day. She did a massive survey of Australian men and found out that quite a few of them harbour a few secret desires about how they wouldn't mind experimenting. And Stan Zemanek, the late radio announcer, interviewed me after it came out, only so he could tear strips off me, because he thought it was lunacy. It was feminists gone wild, ever daring to say that straight men could ever fantasize, let alone, do what we know a lot of straight men do. That's another topic for another time. What else did I do? Sometimes I was just a complete piss take. 101 reasons why you are lucky not to be a supermodel. And sure, it's a bit mean really to supermodels. I don't mean to be mean, but back in these days they were all built like matchsticks with the wood scraped off. So we need a little bit of light-hearted antidote to all the pressure to be that thin. So yeah, I was 101. I actually came up with 101. Let me know if you'd like me to go through them sometime. What else did I write? The Roaring 40s. Telling young women how your sex life improves as you get older. And this is about being in your 40s. I guess a sequel must be due. So yeah, this has been another windowsill check-in from the Eloquent in the Room. I'm Rose Cooper. Send me a DM if you have any questions. But yeah, this is just a promo because I'm too lazy to do a really good one. It's just a half-assed promo. On the next podcast episode, September 1, a consumer's guide to oral sex as written by me in 1999, as rejigged by me in, what year is it? 2020. Is it over yet? No, it's not over yet. And that is the sequel to the one that's out currently, which is about kissing. See the theme? There's a theme, I'll say a lips thing, I know, right? And that was kind of a bit of a follow-on from 2020, an Orgasmic Oddity, which ended with great information about certain nervous systems that do connect to our face. So we sort of fell on our face at the end of that series, but in a good way. If you are confused as to what I'm talking about, maybe you should have a listen. It's out on all podcast platforms, and this is about my 10th take so far of this promo, so I'm going to leave it here and go and sit at my computer and learn how to edit videos so that the next one won't be nearly as weird. It'll probably be weirder, but hopefully in a good way. Peace, love, and brown rice.